Mexico. Okay, so on this trip I flew from LAX to Puerto Vallarta to visit this little place called Punta Mita on mainland Mexico. I've been interested in exploring more of mainland Mexico. I've been to the Baja a few times and I've been to Costa Rica a few times, but I've never been to mainland Mexico. And I figured I can do some good surfing as well as check out some culture. And as long as you stay sort of below the tip of the Baja, you can get both the southern swell and the northern swell. And there's a huge number of places on the Pacific coast here that have world-class surfing. But in case you didn't know, Mexico has 126 million people versus the U.S. has 331. So it's about a third the size of our population. And then Mexico is 761,000 square miles as opposed to 3.8 million square miles in the U.S. So we're about a fifth the size, about a third of the population fitting in a country that's about a fifth of the size. But it's got incredible diversity. You've got the Baja with the Gulf of California or the Sea of Cortez here, which supposedly has the second best reef to the Great Barrier Reef for snorkeling and diving and stuff like that. I've never been, but it's supposed to be incredible. There are three mountain ranges in Mexico. You've got the Western Sierra, Eastern Sierra, and the Southern. I think you have something like 30 peaks over 10,000 feet, and the highest one, which is somewhere in this area here, is over 18,000 feet. So you got some serious mountains. You got glaciers. You got Aztecs. You got ruins. You've also got the Yucatan Peninsula, which is over here. Cancun is right there on that point. And Mexico, it goes from California all the way across to basically the panhandle of Florida. So it's almost the entire width of the United States. Anyway, I went to Punta Mita, which is this tiny little point here. I flew into Puerto Vallarta, which is located right there. And it takes about an hour and a half maybe to get to Punta Mita. This is the Bahia de Banderas, the big huge bay. And you can see from Punta Mita, there's a mountain somewhere over here that's, I think, 10 or 12,000 feet visible from Punta Mita. So it's really pretty. You see across this big bay and all the mountains around it. But Punta Mita itself, which means little point, is this area here. And there's the, as they say down there, the rich part and the poor part. So you've got the little town, which is right here. And then you've got this whole area where there's a Four Seasons resort, golf course, and multi-million-dollar villas all around. But I went for both an art workshop and to surf. And the art workshop was in a restaurant right around here on the second floor. So we were overlooking the beach here. And they call this break right here, they call this a Mexican Malibu. But there's several breaks around this bay, and it gets both north swell and south swell. These are all the fishing boats, kind of the panga type boats that you'll see. And I rented an Airbnb, the Punta Mita Surf Lodge, which sounds way more exotic than it is, but it was located here. And I would kind of walk down this way to go to the art thing. But really nice beaches. I surfed. I rented a paddleboard for the whole week. Unfortunately, I got 1 day of surfing and got completely skunked for the rest of it. But I surfed. I went right off from where the art workshop is and surfed in the Mexican Malibu area there. And then I went to this break down here, which is called El Faro. And it was really spectacular surfing. A guy who I met who really knows the area said it only breaks like 10 times a year there, and it needs this specific long period swell, which I guess it had. But so you got El Faro. This side is called Bahia, I believe. Sayulita is up here, which gets more southern swell, I believe. And then you have the Mexican Malibu. You have La Lancha over here. You have several more breaks down in the bay this way. So there's some really good surfing to be had. Unfortunately, it wasn't for me. Punta Mita. So cool little place. This is a couple of shots of actually the view from where our workshop was down the beach. This is the harbor filled with all the panga boats, a lot of fishing. But the panga boat, which is just a basic fiberglass open-hulled outboard boat, can be outfitted to haul people around for fishing. It can also smuggle drugs and people. The panga is used for everything. But this is from our hotel where the art workshop was, a cool little beach hut, thatched roof, and this is what they call a bocho. Sounds like Ocho. It's the Volkswagen Bug was made in Mexico until 2019. Told you a little bit about surfing. Here is Punta Mita and some of the different breaks. And as I said, I surfed right out front the Mexican Malibu, which is this. When it's breaking, it's a nice big long wave and great for long boarders. A lot of people live on the boats out there. You can see the mountains in the background. What could be better than art and surfing, right? So Wade Koniakowski, really cool guy. He's known for painting waves and also tropical scenes. This is one of his tropical scenes. Really cool light, and one of his waves, obviously. We painted, this is Norm Daniels, a friend of his who also came down, also a great artist. This is a painting that Norm did of that same view I just showed you of Punta Mita, looking down from the second floor of the restaurant where our workshop was, kind of this view right here, so you can see how he uses his artist license. I basically experimented. I don't really kind of do much of this type of art, but it was fun giving it a shot, and I didn't really finish any paintings, but I got to do all kinds of cool experiments. There's one. And this is another painting Norm did, so you can see the boat, and this is the actual boat right on the beach. It's amazing to see what a good artist can do with artistic license as opposed to a crappy artist who tried to draw a surfer. I did a few abstract things when I got fed up with the figurative art, and I did this abstract, and Wade put a wave on top of it for me, so it was a collaboration. This is funny. This is a couple who has a house in Punta Mita wanted Wade to create a new painting over kind of a weird Greek god, but it was Norm's birthday, so Wade painted over it, put some trunks on, some waves, some sunglasses, and then when he finally did repaint the painting for the people, this is what he did. Super cool. These are some of the paintings from people in the class, and here we all are painting with our paintings. And last but not least, urban sketching. I tried to do a bunch of sketching when I was down there, which was a lot of fun. There are some really cool buildings. This was a little sketch of the boat, obviously. This is the place where I stayed, the Airbnb, the Surfer's Paradise, which was pretty funny. I mean, it was basically a concrete room, but the price was right and it was close to town. And even though it was a cul-de-sac and there was a dirt lot behind, people cut through there, so there was traffic bombing by there the whole time. Anyway, I sketched it a few different times. Kind of a fun building to sketch. It's typical of Mexican buildings and a lot of areas throughout South America where they just build with concrete, leave some rebar sticking up, and then they build it up a little bit higher. My friend Jay Ellis turned it into a magazine cover, which I thought was kind of fun. Oh, and I thought it was a Mexican circus, but I think it was an Israeli group. They made noise all night long over a megaphone. From a coffee shop, I spotted this cool green building and matching truck, which I sketched from above point of view, some other various buildings. And this one is just another one I passed on my walk down to the art thing, and I made a little bit cleaner sketch on this and then added watercolor to it. There are all kinds of cool buildings, and I was really fascinated. I like the electronic grid, all the industrial stuff, and it was amazing. You can see an incredible amount of wires, which means that they've just been changing systems. No one takes the old wires down; they just keep adding systems on there. So wires and wires and wires over wires for things like television systems, phone systems, and stuff like that, which become quickly obsolete these days. Another Punta Mita building. And I'm also I'm always interested at how this is like a 6-story building, which actually has steel, probably because it's extra tall. But that one unit in the middle was finished and someone was living in it, and the other ones around it were still not even built. We got a little Mexican graffiti. You can see the rebar sticking out. And there was this really cool church up from me. I don't know much about it, but I just thought it was kind of a cool building with all that mirrored glass on it. And here, again, from that coffee shop, you can see the church in the background and also that building. So that is a wrap from Punta Mita, Mexico. Lots of fun art, and unfortunately stymied on the surfing, but as the great Mick Jagger once said, you can't always get what you want. And I'm looking forward to my next trip down south of the border. We'll see if we can catch some fine waves. Ocho Libre out.